Completely unsurprising to any of us who have been paying attention to the battle around net neutrality, some of America's biggest telecom companies are now suing the FCC over its efforts to impose net neutrality regulations, to classify broadband under Title II, etc. This includes AT&T, Verizon, and a bunch of others. They're represented by the trade group US Telecom, and they're suing the FCC. They're trying to get the FCC, or the government rather, to overturn the new rules on internet service providers and what they can and cannot do with internet traffic in the US. This is not surprising. These new FCC regulations would treat broadband more like phone lines. Remember, not exactly like phone lines, but more like phone lines. And that, of course, is going to make it more difficult for these companies to make as much money as they could, Lewis.
Totally understandable. Over time, we're probably talking about billions of dollars here that is going to be lost by having meaningful net neutrality.
And their lawsuit claims that the new regulations, quote, violate federal law, including but not limited to the Constitution, the Communications Act of 1934 as amended, and FCC regulations promulgated thereunder. This was a bill, this was a set of regulations from the FCC that was pushed through by former cable lobbyist and current FCC chairman Tom Wheeler. It says that we have to have clearer pricing on broadband packages. You can't have paid prioritization. There can be municipal broadband, etc. However, U.S. Telecom President Walter McCormick says, quote, "We do not believe the FCC's move to utility-style regulation invoking Title II authority is legally sustainable." If the ISPs can get these new regulations scrapped, it is huge for them. So it's worth it to them to spend a bunch of money trying to do it.
It is. It's worth as much money as they need to invest in it. I hope it does not happen. I'm assuming it won't happen. I mean, how can we regress at this point? It does seem that it should be a utility.
I have mixed feelings on this. I agree with you that it's ridiculous that internet not be classified as a utility. Think about the best way for the average person to protest against these companies is to cancel their service. But because internet usage is such a basic part of our everyday lives, and because there is a near monopoly on internet service in each town or district, it's almost impossible for people to even boycott these companies. That in and of itself tells us that classifying broadband as Title II is absolutely the right thing. But I'm not so sure, Lewis, that they have no chance at this, because internet service providers have successfully gotten net neutrality type regulations overturned twice in the last 10 years. So there's certainly precedent for FCC regulations being overturned.
Well, let's hope that the third time is the charm. I suppose people could protest by canceling their cable subscriptions. Ultimately, you're not going to do too much damage to these gigantic companies.